Workrooms, sauna, solarium, guest houses, greenhouse and even a house for cats. By the way, here it is. The Chinese in Siberia live in a big way. They can afford what they can't afford, but for the owner of this forest base of the Baths of Eugene, luxury has been replaced by house arrest, but there are many others left. And it was like a huge territory here. An observation tower as a colony, expensive furniture, remnants of the casino. There are remnants of documentation on the floor. Everything is clear only to the citizens of China. And in order for the guests to socialize in Russia more quickly and be able to start their own criminal business, domestic publishing houses have worked hard on this. However, it is not so easy to meet the real owners of the taiga in Siberia. As a rule, legally all firms are registered to our compatriots' nominees. And the forest is being felled by men from neighboring villages. And what is the name of the company?
I do not know how the company is. I have been working here for like a week.
I understand that you work for a week. You didn't know where you were applying for a job. Do you know how you drive a tractor or something? The numbers must be the certificate of registration of the vehicle in technical supervision. What? A bicycle? Have you started?
The boss has all the questions that.
Which guard? Which boss? Where's the boss? You're on Ivanov's tractor. All over the taiga there is equipment without numbers, and the so-called thieves, that is, battered, semi-artisanal manipulators rush with cargo from the forest to the nearest base. Far from populated areas, the forest is not felled. That's exactly how the Siberian forest is felled. The main thing is that there is a village nearby and preferably a well-traveled road. The scheme looks like this. The Chinese and their Russian vassals are engaged in buying illegally harvested wood. For cutting down, as a rule, a very small plot is taken. This is so that the rent is minimal. A couple of men from the surrounding villages and some kind of tractor are working there for the sake of appearance. Logging here is usually conducted only as a sham, or rather to distract attention. Thus, a small plot can be mastered for many years in a row, or you can gain the audacity and not cut at all. Let it stand until better times. In any case, the tenant of the plot earns not on the sale of the forest, but on the sale of documents by a black lumberjack, so that any forest cut down anywhere can be safely transported along the roads and handed over to the bases. In reality, as a rule, the forest is stolen. He cuts it not far from a fictitious plot on the same road so that random traffic police officers do not have questions. And this is called a mirror cabin. There is a legal plot there, but the traces of logging trucks enter another site. This is exactly what a real logging looks like, otherwise the theft of the forest. This is exactly where this road leads. This forest will also be handed over to the Chinese on the cheap. Expats from China know perfectly well that they are buying stolen goods, but unlike us, they do not live here. And because their conscience is not particularly gnawing. Money and that's it. And the locals, who work day and night at foreign bases, shipping stolen wood to China, are so driven by need. There's nowhere to work, because people. So the state would create conditions for citizens. That is, look, they'll close it right now, if that's all, right? How many of them work here? 3, let's say, dead ends. And if all of them are closed, how many people will be out of work? And the family has children. You have to pay for everything. There's light in the kindergarten. The e-guise system created in Russia does not save. A lot of front companies are opened, between which transactions are conducted through the state system. Upon a detailed examination of the chains, they are not legitimate, but a huge array of data remains in the system, or rather a mess, an information dump. It is almost impossible to verify this data remotely and identify the fact of smuggling. In the Irkutsk region, the Ministry of Forestry should be at the beginning of each such chain, but at the very bottom of the pyramid or the food chain, as you like, black lumberjacks, that is, village men and local bandits. The latter intimidate the heads of settlements so that they do not complain. Especially obstinate and the hut can be burned down. The head of the village of Hort Ogna suffered so much for his work. Near his village last year, the forest was dumped well, just on a cosmic scale. They even built a bridge. Years here fly everywhere, indiscriminately. Larch, pine, birch whatever. Fells the forest even in the water protection zone. That's where the Horka River flows, but this does not stop the loggers in any way. According to the documents, everything is legal here, but in reality, violations for violation. Firstly, the forest fells in huge volumes, and secondly, it fells mainly young trees. And here lies more than 1 million cubic meters of forest prepared for shipment to China.
For example, Kirtania and Dagny have an average pension. This is a village where people live with us. And everywhere we have at this time, last winter until the summer, logging was carried out, and at the moment it is being cut down near the Hortagna. Here now 500 meters from the beginning of the village there is also logging. I say that there should be illegal ones, because I know that there is a forest there, a young forest. It does not have the age of the ones that are subject to solid blanks. Here it is possible, I think, to carry out logging only Sanrubki maybe, but I doubt the conductivity of these documents, so this time. But we live here and we are against cutting next to us, next to our vegetable gardens. Here it is our habitat, ours. We live here, and how can we survive if we cut down this forest now, and what will remain there? Today there are plans for logging, they are already being cut here, and now they will also start cutting from this side. There are still some 125 hectares near the village. According to talk, we will still resist.
This interview was recorded last year. Now the forest bandits have achieved their goal. Sergei Sergeyevich no longer communicates with the press and does not catch Siberian barbers. This base is in the village of Keaton. In February last year, the transport police revealed here the fact of smuggling as much as 500 million rubles. At the time of the shooting, the forest and equipment were arrested here. But the forest continues to be shipped. Cars go without license plates. Well, you see for yourself, here is last year's forest lying. Yes, that's about which they were arrested. The base is completely under arrest. Well, work continues, a new sawn timber is being imported. And why is it visible? In such volumes already started. Well, it is clear that there is no snow on them. As you can see for yourself, the car is being delivered. In your presence, another truck with a forest has just come in. Where was the forest brought from, when, according to what documents, for what? Well, it's not clear. And why, on what basis is wood imported at all at the arrested base? That's the question we have. As a rule, cases of sudden inspection are always prepared by the director of the nominal value, a Russian. The Chinese don't like publicity. We were very lucky. We found a real manager. Meet Yura. This is how he introduces himself to the local Rapsala. No one really knows the name of this guest from China.
Wow.
This is a public organization.
We need to twist.
Federal law of the mass media of the Russian Federation. Can you imagine who you are?
No.
Why? Don't go imagine, right?
Yes.
But us. Senior.
I'm a suburb of you.
No.
Senior is allowed? Someone we can talk to? Then he called, Vika. Who called them?
Them.
Yes, we already have.
In the Russian Federation, I called.
We are authorized, it's not for people to talk.
But who called you here? That's a big question. Documents.
Here are the documents. Here are the documents. Don't touch it with your hands.
Well, then go. I'll call you at bedtime now, okay?
Come on.
Let's go now.
No, don't close the door.
Why are we like this? We open a sauna on the street.
Nobody takes it from you, actually.
Are you here? Here you are.
Who are you here? I'm nobody here. Well, then don't touch it. Are you going to close up now? What are we going to stand on the street for? Go ahead and call. Come on. We'll wait for him here. Inside.
Come here.
How not clear? Who said so? The 47th article of the law on mass media. There is no concept of private there. Private, Russian, private, finite. Private. Yura keeps black bookkeeping. Again, everything is in Chinese, but it is clear from the figures that this is a log of forest acceptance.
Are you at all?
Aren't you bandits?
Cut down the forest. Did you come here to Russia?
To steal, right? Why did you come?
Well, in general.
Why have you come?
Stealing. Yes, I will beat.
Yura also has his superiors, also Chinese. Two brothers Kondensai or Misha and Hongqin Li Kostia. This Sharashkin's office also has a Russian denomination, which solves all issues. His name is Alexander Kotovic. He is a director at once in 3 firms created by the now wanted Chinese Lucy Chen. Here is such an interesting person, but he is a rare guest at the base. He solves issues in government agencies and security forces. The disgruntled T management decided that it would quickly resolve issues with journalists. I, a correspondent, am on the basis of Article 47 of the Federal Law on Mass Media. There is no concept of private property in the law on mass media, there is the concept of housing and a military facility. This is not a dwelling or a military facility.
Well, let's talk to you in court then. Let's be on trial, file a lawsuit. Of course, I'll tell the guards now to pour you out.
Yeah, tell me, by all means tell me.
Of course I will.
Tell me. Just for the prosecutor's office and for the investigative committee, will there still be such an Article 144 in the Criminal Code of obstructing the activities of journalists?
Of course. On the street, shoot behind the fence as it is.
And there is no such thing as private property.
How not?
So no.
Yes, how not?
So no. So no. Open the law on mass media, Article 47, don't be lazy, open it, read it, and then you will understand that you are really nobody. This. Yes. Yeah. And what are the citizens of the MPR doing in your territory, please tell me?
According to our law, we will live.
Not according to our law, but according to the general law of the Russian Federation. What are the citizens of the MPR doing in your territory?
I didn't give you permission to shoot.
And we didn't ask you, is it not required by law?
Yes, of course not required.
Yes, of course, read the law carefully.
And I don't need your law.
Meaning you don't need the law.
Where do you live, in what country? So go to China and live there according to their laws together with your Chinese, and here, please, live according to Russian laws. However, the conversation did not go well and everyone remained with his opinion. About the film crew went to the second base of this muddy office. It is located in the infamous city of Tuluan, which was washed away during a flood 2 years ago. What is surprising is the level of security. They obviously saved on it, or rather, there is practically none. Well, why? Who's going to get in there? The locals are scared, intimidated. But law enforcement officers are lured warm. The forest at this base was also arrested, but right in the presence of journalists, another thief hurried here to hand over fresh loot.
That's it, take it off.
Take it off. And what do you take off?
Put the camera away.
Shut your mouth. It is clear that the arrested fresh forest has long been mixed up. How much stolen wood, which is under the protection of the state, was shipped to the Celestial Empire, so only one Buddha knows. The participants of our movement Irkutsk branch worked very effectively in the city of Tuluan, Khitan, Winter, where they found a lot of black forest, which was laid up and arrested at the bases. There were huge deposits of forest, which are stored and which, like a perishable forest, it rots, spoils. But nevertheless, the investigative bodies we have contacted, they are not taking any steps. This is corruption. Not only social activists are happy for the environment. The police, especially transport, they also help a lot in nature conservation. That's just not ours, but for some reason Chinese. The yellow brother has a green light everywhere here. On the 24th of April, 2000 of the 20th year, a criminal case was opened in the Tayshet Linear Department of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia on transport on the fact of smuggling against the company Siberia and a citizen of the People's Republic of China. Ko Gen. The director and founder of this company is a certain citizen Gafurov. The forest was seized and handed over to the rice company, the general director of which is the same citizen Gafurov. Thus, the seized wood was legalized, the rice company provided documents for the forest, and Siberia sent the stolen wood. The fact that the same person is at the head of both companies did not bother the police. The arrested forest at the base in Khitan does not bring profit. The volumes are enormous, the wood is rotting and therefore the Chinese do not let up. It is here that the arbitration court of the Irkutsk region is now deciding whether to leave the stolen forest to the state or withdraw its remnants to the PRC. A Chinese firm has come up with a clear scheme, but the scheme does not work in court. They didn't have any evidence, and they don't. As a result, the process was postponed at home and very well. During this time, an examination on the origin of the forest will be ready. Several companies have been registered for the same person. A criminal case has been initiated against one of the enterprises. The second company of the conditional holding retroactively draws debts and tries to sue the arrested goods from the organization's security forces who have come to the attention of the organization. Previously, it turned out to be one or two, but now the Chinese have so believed in themselves that they have begun to save not only on security, but even on lawyers. The representative at the trial, with a high degree of probability, according to the announcement, does not know the details of the case at all. Dear, according to the auto-reconciliation attached to the case file.
As the reconciliations do not contain links to.
Here I wrote 2 legal positions in which I indicated in writing.
And how much was the delivery on the 5th?
Okay, now wait a minute. Pine tree.
What was the total amount of alcohol delivery?
Dear reconciliations, it is necessary to raise.
But you have listed the primary documents. You are the sum.
And during the accountants conducted those acts.
They added up the amount to a specific one. Question. You did it again.
Therefore, it is necessary to fix it here. But the case is well owned by public figures. The expert has already visited the site indicated in the documents and revealed that no one has felled the forest here since the Soviet Union, which means that the documents for the forest stored at the base in Keaton are fake, and the forest itself is stolen. If not by washing, then by rolling. Having failed to get their way in court, the Chinese went the other way. Another investigator was warmed up. Yes, not just an investigator, but the best investigator of the East Siberian Linear Department, Dmitry Orlov, who was awarded a Neva car only in December by the governor. The next day after the court session, he signed a decree, according to which he returned the entire flat forest to the Chinese. And this means that you can forget about Siberian wealth and go to China, which last year became the largest exporter of timber to the United States and Europe. And this is despite the fact that logging is legally prohibited in the Middle Kingdom, and you can get up to 7 years for buying stolen wood there.